What's going on, guys? Silver Surfer coming back your way again. It's been a little bit of time since I've been off YouTube, but ready to get back into it and been busy with school and other things. But so I wanted to share with you guys today. We're going to talk about Lincoln Cents, all right? And one, I'm going to show you my new pickup right now, but I also wanted to kind of show you some of my key date Lincoln Cents, which I don't think I've really ever shared before. So we'll kick it off with this guy right here, and this is the 1911 Philadelphia Lincoln Cent, but there's a little specialty with this, guys. Can you pick it out just from the coin? Besides the fact that it's toned so rad, it's got a nice bluish kind of tone, bluish greenish tone with some purple on the edges there. I'll show you guys a reverse here. Here's a reverse, excellent color as well. Just a fantastic looking coin all around, but you might notice, especially on the reverse, it's a little bit easier to see. Trying to capture it here. But this guy here is actually a proof. This is a matte proof. So not all coins have matte proofs, but there's a time in our history that we minted them. And so a lot of people think, the proof coinage is those bright, shiny ones, which I've showed you on my prior 20th century. And this actually does add to my 20th century collection as well, because it is 1911 and it is on the registry set, and I wasn't going to get one, but I had to just get one when this toner came along. And basically a matte proof, right? So let's talk matte proofs here. So proofs in general have been around for years, centuries actually, up into the 1600s, they believe there's evidence of it. If you read Walter Breen's Encyclopedia, I highly recommend you download that article, and it has some fantastic information on the history of proofs. Very long, but it's just such a great resource to have. And I read a ton of it and learned a lot about it, but I also used that book and some other resources and stuff to choose not only a lot of coins in my 20th century proof set, but also this coin. So this one here, let's talk about matte proof, right? So instead of having the planchets super polished, in which you've seen or are probably familiar with the normal proofs, as in the case of this guy right here, see how it's super shiny, your fields and your devices and all that other stuff. And now they've even done things where they frosted the devices, but they left the fields super shiny. Instead, on a matte proof, what they do is it's a process. It was going around in Paris, I believe it was, back in the day. And the United States saw this, and they wanted to attempt their luck at this. And so in 1909, they actually started attempting to make matte proofs. And some of the coins are struck with this, including the Lincoln Cent, including the 1909 VDB, which is a super key date in this series. And essentially what happens is that they'll sandblast the planchets the dies, and it leaves this very granular kind of appearance on the coin itself, which, let's see if I can get you a better look here, but it's there you go, you can kind of see it in the fields. It's this very granular like appearance. And that was thought to actually bring the details out of the coin a little bit better back in Paris, France, during the time of when this, there you go, that's a little bit better. You can see the granules there on the field. And it was thought to bring the details out more better than, other ways of striking a coin. And so this was also during the time, I think, of the spring presses, which were done by hand. And eventually the steam press was developed, in which these are actually struck by. But so they thought that was a little bit better way to make proofs coinage, and that it was a way that they were testing and running through with it. And so the United States got a hold of that type of technology, and they thought that they'd give it a shot as well. And so that's what they did. They struck them starting in 1909. They ran these all the way to 1916. Some Buffalo nickels were struck in matte proof as well. And the way you can tell, it's very difficult to authenticate matte proof Wheaties, because there's some very good MS coins as well that were struck very well. But the way you do it is there's certain die characteristics, right? So there's die scratches, there's die cracks, and actually on the 1911, there's a very well-known die crack, which is right up on the O and cent, the O and 1. And I'm not going to be able to you need a loop to see it, but basically, trust me on it, I've already verified. And on the top of the O up there, there's a die crack that you can line up with the known die crack. And there's multiple other die scratches. There's one above the L in Liberty. There's one horizontal up the top by "In God We Trust," etc., etc. And so that's the only way that you're able to authenticate these things. But yeah, so I felt that I'd share with you guys this type of situation here. And the public wasn't all too keen on matte proofs to begin with, and they eventually were like, nah, we want the bright shiny ones back again, which the United States used to print or mint back in the day. And so they did. So they ended up getting rid of these after 1916 for the most part. And they went to these in 1936, which we actually had a hiatus from 1916 until 1936, in which we started making proofs again in the United States, which were mainly of the brilliant type. And so we were back to polishing the planchets and the dies of the coins, the dies that struck these coins. And that's kind of how we got these bright and shiny ones. So kind of interesting history there. And this one's got some really cool toning too on the back. I've shown this a number of times, but I just love these coins. So that's my new pickup right here, the 1911 matte proof that is super stellar toned. And I just love this guy right here, man. These are expensive because there's very small mintage. The 1911 is one of the lesser years of mintage for these coins. I think it was like 1,700 and some change. I don't know the exact number, but I know there's no more than 2,000 of them. So interesting stuff. But anyways, I wanted to share that with you guys, and I also want to share just a few more, a few more key dates in the Lincoln series that I don't know if I've shared before. So this is the 1909S. This is a raw. I inherited this coin. I don't know. I was thinking of maybe sending it in for grade. I would say it probably comes back high AU. I think there's a little tad bit of wear on it. It's kind of hard to see with the scratched up airtight here, but a little bit of wear. It's got some great luster though still, man. Look at that. Just a great looking coin. And I got this one from my dad. Beautiful 1909S. But yeah, there's just so many neat varieties. And I have a whole complete Lincoln Cent set, which I mentioned I was going to share that, but just take up too much time. So instead, I figured I'd share with you guys, which more people care to see, are the key dates. So the 1909S is a good one. Any of these matte proof Wheaties, any of these 1936 to 1942 proofs are all pretty desirable. Of course, the king daddy of them all here is the 1909S, and I already shared with that, but as you can see from the label, there's a few extra letters on the back of this one, making it very, very desirable. This is my 1909S, but also VDB. My camera is just, not picking it up. There you go. You guys can see the VDB there at the bottom. 484,000, the lowest mintage of any of the Lincoln wheat cents that were business struck, and lots of controversy over this one. Public outcry, thought that the designer of the coin, Victor David Brenner, was being boisterous at the time, which he was not actually. It was very common for artists to put their initials on there in kind of plain view. And I think actually in the beginning his entire name was written out, but he even thought, all right, that's a little bit too much. So he removed that and just added in his planning of these, and added the VDB instead. But so yeah, so that was that, and that's my 1909 SVDB. Here's kind of a semi-key date. Any of the earlier 1909 S's are considered kind of semi-keys. This is the 11S. But the 10S, the 12S, 13S, etc. This wasn't a lot of the 09S, obviously. There wasn't a lot of them minted at the time from San Francisco. So they're kind of a little key date here. But yeah, guys, longest running coinage of any coin. Still currently in existence, has multiple varieties, multiple changes throughout the years. Just a very cool series to collect. Many collectors in general get into the Lincoln Cent set in the beginning. And it's one that they, this is usually one of the starter coins that not this coin in particular, but the Lincoln Cent is usually one of the coins that people begin collecting as a set or just in general as a type coin while getting into the hobby. So I got a lot of great ones here, and I just love it. This is a 1914D, another very popular key date coin. Just a nice, even circulated wear. PCGS graded this as a fine 12. Nice coin overall. And then lastly is the 31S. And another kind of better date coin here. A nice even wear. VF35 they're calling it. And flip on the back here. This one's also got some great history as well. I mean, there's so many great varieties in this series. And I have all of them for the most part. What I don't have is the 22 no D, or weak D if you would. Really, the 22 no D is kind of the better one. And then the 55 double die. And I never got those when I completed the whole entire series. Mainly just because they're not, I don't consider them to really be, they're variety types of, really they're errors is what they are. And so I don't consider those as like part of the normal business release and stuff like that, which is why I did not get them. But yeah, guys, so that's my latest pickup. Was this matte proof video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned a little something there. Go ahead and toss me a comment and tell me what you think about this stunning toner here. And if you guys like matte proofs or not. You know, a lot of people, they're not too keen on them, but I like them, you know. They got the, especially on the Wheaties, they got the really sharp edges there. See how sharp the edges are? They end very, very drastically. And then also they're a lot wider too on the rim. There's another way you can tell for matte proof wheat scents. And then just the detail on these bad boys are incredible. But again, like I said, the only way to truly authenticate one of being a matte proof to a strong business circulation strike is by the dye characteristics, because some of them can pass. And I would not be buying, I highly recommend if you're ever interested in buying a matte proof wheatie to get one certified. And do your research, look at Walter Breen's Encyclopedia. There's some other good, there's a really good book out there strictly on matte proofs in general, and has all the different dye characteristics. But you can also cheat and just download, I bookmarked there's a website that shows, if anyone's interested, let me know, and I can link it below. But there's a website that has all the different matte proof wheaties as well, that basically paraphrases a lot of the information in that book, because the book's like $50, and it shows all the different dye characteristics and pictures and stuff like that. So anyways, that's that. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. I'll try to get some more videos up. Like I said, it's been super busy, but I got some other currency I'd like to show you, some other coins, and you know, everything else. Hope you guys are doing well, and talk to you later. Silver Surfer out.